Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the Tier 3 German light tank, the Panzer 38T. Says it ain't good. No, it's pretty average. Yes, pretty average indeed. It reminds me actually of the review I just did of the Panzer 35T, the tank you get before this one, in that there's nothing that it's really good at. Nothing that stands out about this tank, but it's not awful. It's just not very good, but it's adequate. Alright, well, let's get into the review. It has 250 hit points, which is actually the equal best in its tier. And remember that highest hit points is code for you're going to get hit and penetrated a lot. So the armor on this isn't really the best. But 250 hit points are the Stuart 1.4 also has 250, and the T46 also has 250 hit points, but the lowest hit points goes to the AMX38 with just 220 hit points. Now the tank weighs in at around about 10 ton, which is sort of lower than average, so it's not really a tank you want to go ramming people in. It's not a fast tank anyway. The heaviest tank in the tier is the Panzer 3A with 17 ton, and the lightest is the Japanese Kini with just 7 ton. Speed wise, this tank is pretty slow. It's not agonizingly slow, like it takes off okay and all that. It has a top speed of 42 kilometers per hour in forward and 18 kilometers an hour in reverse, and it does do that speed, but it's a bit lackluster when you compare it to the Panzer 1C, one of the other German tier 3 tanks that does 79 kilometers per hour in forward. So there are a lot of really fast tier 3 tanks. This isn't one of them, but it's not the slowest. The slowest is the French AMX38, which only does 25 kilometers an hour, but then that tank is sort of unique in that it's very heavily armored. Now, track traverse on this tank is also pretty lackluster at just 35 degrees a second. Now, it's not the worst. The worst is, again, the AMX38 at just 32 degrees a second. But then again, like I say, the AMX38 is very heavily armored. This thing doesn't have very good armor at all, and it has a very slow track traverse. Now, the turret traverse is also pretty poor at just 32 degrees a second. The best in class is the M3 Stuart with 50 degrees a second. And the worst is again the AMX38 with just 28 degrees a second, but 32 is still pretty bad. So it doesn't turn fast on its tracks, doesn't have fast turret traverse, and doesn't go fast in a straight line, and it has poor armor. However, its view range isn't too bad. It has 330 meter view range, which for tier 3 is okay. The best is 340 on the Panzer 1C, and the worst is 300 from the BT7. So view range at least is okay. Signal range is also about average at around 550 meters. It's not too bad. The best in class would be the Panzer 2G, and the worst would be the AMX38 and the T46. Now, camouflage wise, this tank is a little bit on the upper side of average. It's not a big tank. Now, the camouflage isn't as good as the Panzer 1C. I've got a Panzer 1C here, so we can have a look at the comparison. There's the Panzer 1C. So you can see that size-wise, the Panzer 1C is a bit smaller, so obviously it's going to have better camouflage. The height is the predominant factor with camouflage, but this tank is still reasonably small. So above average camouflage, but obviously not as good as the Kini, which is the best, most well camouflage tank at this tier, but much better than the British Cruiser 2, which is the worst camouflage at this tier. Gun depression is very good at 10 degrees of gun depression and 20 degrees of elevation. So that is something it has that is good. But at tier 3, you know, that's actually only about average. Where there's 3 tanks, the Cruiser 4, the Chiha, the Chinese one, and the Japanese Kini all have 15 degrees of gun depression. And the Stuart 1.4, the M3 Stuart, the Panzer 3A, and the Panzer 1C all also have 10 degrees of gun depression. The only one that's really, really terrible is the T70 with only 4 degrees of gun depression. So while the gun depression is good, it's nothing special at this tier. Now, if you actually look at the gun, this is the top gun on the tank. Hang on, let's push that button, the L43. Now, if you actually look at this gun, it has 62 millimeters of pen, which in its tier, look, it's probably about average. There are some that have much better pen, And the ones that have less pen tend to be autocannons, although some of them have, maybe 60, 58. So it's okay. The pen is average. And the damage of 60 per shot is also is actually not too bad. And it does have a good rate of fire. 26.09 rate of fire is very good. 0.37 accuracy is probably a little better than average, so it's not too bad. The 1.7 second aiming time, though, is fantastic. Now, in the gameplay that you'll see, my crew is, well, at best, the commanders right now is 83%. So, at best, they'll be 83%, but anywhere from 75 to 83. So, that will affect the aiming time, the reload time, and the accuracy a bit. So, maybe the tank would be a good sniping tank if the aiming time, accuracy, and all that was up there. But that's pretty much all you can really do with this tank is hide in bushes and snipe. It doesn't have the armor to even bounce the autocannons. The autocannons will penetrate the front of this tank, not even the sides. They'll penetrate the front. So it really doesn't have the armor to bounce much of anything. The gun will penetrate all tier 3s and tier 2s. It has trouble with some tier 4s at the front and a lot of tier 5s. But if you get them on the side of the back, you usually can penetrate them. But maneuvering and getting to the sides and back is a problem in this tank because it's not quick. So really, you need to be in a bush and just pump shots out and hope you hit things. It's not a great tank. I have a toolkit, binoculars, and camouflage net fitted to this tank. I probably, if I was going to keep it and I got the crew to 100%, might get rid of the toolkit and get maybe vents or something. But I would probably keep the binoculars and camouflage net because you really do want to be hiding and sniping in this tank. I have a small repair kit, large first aid kit fitted, and as I mentioned, the crew will be probably somewhere around 80% in the gameplay that you see. Not a great tank if you're looking to keep for a keeper for tier 3, but it's not awful either. It's just a really sort of average tank. I'll go into Tank Inspector now, and then we'll get into some gameplay. The Panzer 38T in Tank Inspector. I should mention that the averages I was quoting for this tier, I didn't include any of the premium tanks. Including the premium tanks, there are 23 tier 3 light tanks, and that's a lot. So I excluded the premium tanks from my comparisons. Some of them are rarely seen anyway. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Alright, so let's have a look at the colorized view now of the armor layout. We can see the very, very lower plate. They're extremely well angled. He's only 8mm thick, but it is pretty hard to shoot from the front. The lower plate is 25mm thick and will be penned even by autocannons, although at long range it may bounce some of the autocannon tier 2 autocannons. The upper plate here is 15mm. The front plate is also 25mm and fairly flat and is full of weak spots, driver ports and stuff that are all 20mm thick. The turret is also 25mm and is full of weak spots at 20mm as well. And the cupola is 15mm. Pretty weak armor. No point in angling because the sides are only 15mm, so it's a pretty weak armor layout. It really is an armor layout that would be not too bad at tier 2. And I'm pretty sure actually it's a very similar layout, or the turret is anyway, to what the Panzer 35 tier 2 was. So in a tier 3 above match, it's trash. And I have to say, I had about 65% of the matches I had in this were tier 5 games, and it doesn't do well at tier 5. Sidearm is 15, side of the turret is 15, cupola is 15. This section here is 10mm. The back of the tank is also 15, and top deck is 10, and the top of the turret and the top of the cupola are 8mm. So effectively in tier 3 and above you have no armor. At tier 2 you may bounce some of the tier 2 autocannons. That's about it for the armor. Let's get into some gameplay.
Time to roll out.
Alright, the map is Prokhorovka. We're in our tier 3 German light tank, the Panzer 38T. And it's good for us because it's a tier 3 game, nothing higher than tier 3, and there are indeed on the other side about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tier 2 tanks as well. So great matchup for us. I'm going to head for the hill. You can see there some of the quicker tanks getting out in front of me, Tetrarch, and it looks like the other guys are going the other way, not the hill, but anyway. So it has reasonable spotting distance, as we know, for a tier 3 light tank, so hopefully we'll be able to spot from the hill a little bit and see what happens from there. So I'll just let it, I'm not going to speed it up because I just want to give you an idea of the speed of the tank. So as you can see, as I said, it's not fast for tier 3, but it's not actually like a tragically slow tank or anything like that. It's a little bit slow up the hill here, but it's still not awful. It moves along, it gets around. It's just a bit hard at this tier to really outflank people, and you can't do like, you know, drive-by shootings or anything. It's not quick enough for any of that sort of thing. Now normally at higher tiers I normally stop about here and just look over the hill, but at this tier you're usually better off just to keep going if you're top tier, because a lot of people don't play this map very well and they don't try and take the hill. You really need to, well, most of the time you need to take the hill to win the game. And if the other team doesn't come up the hill, which they sometimes don't, then coming up here is good, but coming up here is not that good if the other team takes the hill. Also at this tier the view range isn't great, so I can shoot that guy there and not be spotted, whereas at a higher tier, if I was shooting that guy down there, everyone would be spotting me on this hill and they'd all be shooting at me. And there usually are plenty of guns pre-trained on this hill waiting for someone to light up so they can shoot you. So you've got to be much more careful. But at this tier it doesn't matter. Now, looks like the first wave of resistance has been killed, and I'm thinking about moving on down the hill. Look, like I say, at a higher tier I would never do that, because there'll be some TDs parked on the hill back there. With their great view range, they'll be able to see me as soon as I start moving. But with the shorter view ranges at this tier, we can just go for it. And the medium too, I saw him going past me, so I thought, well, I'll take off at the same time. Then they've got 2 tanks to shoot at. And there is that a Panzer 1C? I think it is. I take a pot shot there, which was a silly shot. And we get moving again. So always remember, this is my crew is at around about 80%, so the tank will perform better with a fully trained crew. We'll have a faster aim time, faster loading time, and it'll be more accurate. So anyway, we steal that kill there. And we've been shot by an AT1 somewhere over there. I can't see him. I'm going to keep moving and then try and get into some sort of cover. We've spotted a FTBS, whatever the heck that is. And, oh, we ammo rack him. Our average damage is 60 per shot. We get 80 there, and it looked like we actually ammo racked him. So keep moving now. Luckily that AT1 doesn't seem to have shots on us, or maybe he lit up when he shot me and someone started shooting at him, he had to move. We've got a T-18. Okay, we tracked him. Fantastic, because he's very dangerous for us. As you can see, though, no trouble penetrating the side of a T-18 with 62mm of pen, so that was good. And I do have to be very careful with the T-18s, because the HE ammunition, the armor is thin enough for even the Tier 2 T-18 to fully penetrate the armor and explode on the inside, doing massive damage. So luckily he didn't get a chance to point his gun at us, and we managed to take care of that AT1 as well. So I've actually got 4 kills. We're doing alright. Looks like we're going to win. We're ahead, so I decided to see if I just pop over the hill and probably I'll find artillery and take care of artillery. That's my plan. And there's artillery, and he's pointing at me. He's pointing at me now. Oh, keep moving, keep moving. Get the first shot in. I've been hit in the back by a Pack 40. We bounce off artillery. No. Oh no. Just doesn't do enough damage, this gun. No, he's trying to ram us. And we managed to get out of the way, but we took a hit from that Pack 40, which is very dangerous. I'm getting behind this other tank for cover. And there's a Panzer 38C. I'm aiming at him now. And he fired first. Darn it. Oh, well, that would have been a Top Gun if I'd hit him. Such is life. Alright, so that was a Class 1 game. I don't think I managed to get mastery in this tank. We spotted a lot of tanks, did a bit of spotting damage as well as damaging some tanks, and yeah, missed out on Top Gun there. That guy was a good shot by him. I thought half my tank was covered by the dead tank, and he still managed to get me, so it was a good shot. Next screen. We finished on top on our team, and we did we go on? I think we went on and won the game, yep. So we did 530 damage, which was more than anyone else, and got a bit of XP for it. We fired 17 shots, 13 of those shots hit, so the accuracy was pretty good considering 80% trained on the team. Actually, I'm just looking now, 79% trained they are. So not bad. Probably would do better, a little bit better with fully trained crew, so that's quite good. 530 damage, as we said. We received 3 hits and they all penetrated. The armor is useless. 6 vehicles spotted, and we damaged 6, destroying 5. and a little bit of spotting damage, probably on that other 38T there right at the end. 15,000, as you can see, ammunition and repair, full repair cost of the tank is insanely cheap. So very profitable tank, 14,000 profit, and 624 XP was enough for a class 1 in this tank. So this time we're on Himmelsdorf in our tier 3 Panzer 38T, and this time it's a tier 5 game. Now normally in this tank tier 5 games are pretty short. We've got a bit of a mix though. There is sort of, the enemy team's got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 tier 5s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tier 4s, and 5 or so tier 3s. So it's sort of a pretty good mix there. Like I said, I did get a big number of these. So I'm waiting for this guy to fire before I come up the hill. So I've seen that he's fired. I come to get a free shot, and now this Panzer SFL, I see him lining up, get a free shot into him while he's lining up, and then quickly back away. He could, I think, can he one-shot me? I think he actually might be able to one-shot me, so I had to be really careful there, just fire and then run away. That's the benefit of being pre-aimed. So I'm waiting to see there's no one there before I come up. I can't afford to have someone just do a fluke shot at me, because you know I could get 1 or 2 shot kill very easily, being a tier 3 in a tier 5 game. So anyway, 57 damage we did to that Panzer SFL, so average of 60 damage per shot on this gun, and it has average penetration of 62 millimeters. Lightly armored Panzer SFL German tank destroyer, so that was kind of handy. So I'm just sitting here looking around. I'm not being too adventurous. I'm not going to go, you know, running around the corner or anything, because you know, I'm just going to die. I basically have no armor. If someone shoots me with HE, I will definitely be a one-shot kill. I nearly got myself killed there driving in front of my own tank. Friendly fire. My awareness was not good there. Would have been my fault had he killed me. But it looks like we're really pressing home the advantage here now. So I come across here not so much to see if I can get any shots, but to see if I can see anything down there, like that tank there, and get some opportunistic shots. Realistically, I can't help my buddies against tier 5, but if I can get shots like this into the backs of people, I can have some fun. And this is a DW2. If you haven't seen my review of the tier 4 German heavy tank, the DW2, watch it for a laugh. It is one of the worst tanks in the game. Some people say the M3 Lee is bad and all that, but I reckon the DW2 is probably the worst tank in World of Tanks, or definitely one of them. It's definitely up there with them. It's awful. Anyway, oh, there he is up there. I was blind firing, but he's actually not there. He's there now. And look, here we go. Artillery is making a run for it. No, you don't, buddy. Oh, we bounced. That last game we bounced off artillery too. So you can see there the 62 mils of pen is okay, but you have to hit the right spots. And it does seem to take 3 shots to kill artillery. That's 2 games in a row. It's taken 3 shots. There we go. SU-85B. Looks like he was coming for me, or was he one of my buddies? We get a kill on him, so that's all good. DW2. It looks like at this range, the 50 mils of armor on the DW2 was enough to bounce us. I think the turret was angled to us there. Oh, I missed. I hit the building with that shot. See if we can get this Panzer 38T. He's the same as us. We get one into him. Another one, and we get the kill. Was that kill ours? I think it was ours. It said mine, it's 233. I think maybe someone else hit him as well. But no, we ended up with a kill. It's just someone else hitting just before us. Alright, so there's only one tank remaining on the enemy team, and that's a Covenanter, and a Covenanter, or whatever it's called. Anyway, it's on the other side of the map, near the cap, and I'm not going to get there in time, but we have steamrolled the opposition team, and we obviously we take out the game, so I'll end it there. Okay, so another tier 1 game. Class 1 game, not tier 1, another class 1 game. I was very happy with that game being a tier 5 game, and just basically not putting myself in the line of fire. Now, if of course we had lost the hill, if the game I hadn't been on the winning team, would have been a different story, because they would have come rolling down the hill, and even if I tried to run, I probably just got crushed pretty quickly. So I was just fortunate enough that the team were in disarray and fleeing, and I was just shooting fleeing tanks basically. So I actually finished second on our team. How's that, eh? Tier 5 game, and tier 3 tank gets second place. Although the Panzer 3, is that a... No, that's a tier 4, isn't it, or something? Anyway, very happy with that game. Next screen. So we fired 20 shots, 15 of them hit. So yeah, I guess this is really a sniper tank. Yeah, I think the accuracy with a fully trained crew, you wouldn't miss many shots, and with that sort of really good reload time and pretty good accuracy and all that, I think, yeah, as a sniper, you could probably really brutalise some tanks. 587 damage, a little bit of it, 170 was from long range. We spotted one vehicle, damaging 5, destroying 3, and once again, nearly everything you make is profit. It's quite profitable for a tier 3 tank, and 574 on this occasion was enough for a class 1 badge. Thank you for watching my review of the Panzer 38T. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.